Ohio have some business people concerned. Clinton has recently come down hard on NAFTA, even making changes, even suggesting she would make changes to the trade deal.
So for the businesses that are worried, is there reason to be concerned? Let's throw that question out to our Fox panel. Quentin Hardy, Silicon Valley Bureau Chief for Forbes. Peter Schiff, author of Crash Proof. We have Mike Norman, host of the Biz Radio Network, and Yoran Brook of the Ayn Rand Institute. And joining us for the first time, at least on our hour, is Dave Kansas, president of BuyLife.com.
Man.
Good to have you all. Quentin, let's start with you out there in the satellite offices on the West Coast. Do businesses have a reason to worry here? She talked very negatively about NAFTA. What do you think?
Well, she talked negatively to win Ohio, of course, but, you know, neither Obama nor Clinton is really going to get out of NAFTA. What the Democrats are going to do is say there should be more enforcement around employment and working conditions and pollution. More countries that are polluting or violating other kinds of laws should have their feet held to the fire in the context of NAFTA. That's all.
And Dave, Kansas, you had Obama's aide going to the Canadians saying, hey, look, you know, don't take what happens in Ohio seriously. What happens in Ohio stays in Ohio. It doesn't follow me to the White House.
No, I think that's true. You got to look at who's going to be around Hillary if she gets in the White House, for instance. It's going to probably be a lot of the same people who orchestrated NAFTA in the first place, people who worked for her husband's administration. So I think it's something to win Ohio. I don't think it's something to get too excited about. I would be really surprised if she did anything radical to try to unravel NAFTA. I mean, Canada and Mexico are friends. We've got enough problems with the enemies.
We need their oil anyway.
Why start problems with the friends?
Yeah, particularly with the Canadians, with we've got the oil up there in the north. So what do you think, Yoran? And keeping in mind that a lot of Wall Street names like the big boys at Goldman Sachs and John Mack are supporting Hillary Clinton.
I think there is reason to be worried, not because of this particular win by Hillary, but just the general populist trend in the country, which is there's a growing tendency to be anti-trade, to be more isolationist in terms of trade, to worry about losing jobs. I think there's a real, reason to worry for the future, no matter who wins, in terms of the future of free trade, which is so vital for the economy of the United States.
But, Peter, my old boss at the Wall Street Journal used to say it's the fool's gold of politics, protectionism. It glitters very bright, but once people really examine it and see, gee, I'd have to give up my Toyota, my Sony, all of the other stuff that I get from abroad, they turn tide on that.
People are going to have to give that up anyway because we're not going to be able to afford to import it anymore. The real problem is not that we have to worry about the Democrats. We have to worry about the Republicans, too. I mean, look at what this administration is doing to business.
On trade.
Look at what the Fed is doing to our money. And this is all happening.
Stay on trade for the moment.
But what do we trade? We trade money. And if they debase the value of the dollar, why is oil at $104 a barrel?
But it's trade agreements. Please, I'm begging you, Peter.
But
talk about trade agreements. We'll talk about dollars.
We need free trade, certainly. But right now, since we don't trade exports for imports, we trade dollars for imports. And if the dollar is losing value, our ability to import declines.
Okay, let's bring it back to whether businesses should be concerned about the policies so far expressed by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, for that matter.
I think, Yoran raises a good point in that we see this protectionist sentiment emerging on both sides of the aisle in Congress. However, I think it's more pandering than anything else. I don't think, and I think Steve Forbes is right in this. I mean, to go in there and unravel, look, exports is the only thing keeping us out of a recession right now. Anyone with half a brain is going to look at that, and she's certainly going to have economic advisors who are going to tell her if you take away the exports and our trade, we're in deep, we have deep problems.
So Yoran, very quickly, the point is that this is a lot of rhetoric on the campaign trail. It doesn't amount to much more than that.
Well, it's certainly rhetoric, but I fear that it turns into real policies down the road. It's both on the Republican and on the Democratic side. And if we go into deep recession and fears mount, there is the risk of populism, of a populist kind of agenda.
Always that risk, no doubt. We thank you.